Good morning, I'm Stephen Asher, the creator of the Cyclete. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to add sealant to your Cyclete tires. I'm here with the first Cyclete ever made. It has never had its sealant replenished. It's over 2 years old. And I know that it needs some sealant because I find that I'm needing to refill the tires more frequently. So to do this, you're going to need some sealant. I use the orange endurance sealant in our tires. You're going to need a valve core removal tool. I have a Stan's valve core removal tool. I'll provide links to these things. And you're going to need a injector, and this comes with the smaller orange sealant, and a little dipstick. Right, so I'm going to show you how this works. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the Cyclete upside down to provide some stability while we're working on it. You could do it without doing this, but the reason I'm going to do it is if you let the air out of the tires will go lower and your Cyclete might tip over. So I'm going to show you a trick to turning the Cyclete upside down. So put the kickstand up, grab the rear brake, pull it forward, grab the rear brake, lift it up, let it go forward, release the brake, let it go forward, and then just set it down real nice and gently on the handlebar. Okay. So that'll give you a nice stable surface to work on. Now, when you're working with these tires, whenever you want to add air or let air out of the tire, make sure that this valve is in the upper half of the tire. If it's at the bottom, you may have sealant squirting out, and we don't want that. We don't want to clog the valve with air. So the first thing we have to do is let all the air out of the tire. So we take off our dust cap, we unscrew the presta valve, and holding it up here, we push this in, and that will release a lot of the air. But we're going to release all the air from the tire, as well as we need to have access through the valve to inject the sealant, as well as to use the dipstick to test whether there's sealant in the tire. So after I've relieved some of the pressure, it stops, we've got a lot of the air out. Then I'm going to take the valve core tool. Now this valve core tool works with both Schrader and presta valve. So this is the end we use to remove the presta valve core. So I put it over it and we unscrew it, and out comes your core. You see this core? So that's the core. That's the way it works. When it goes in, the valve opens, and then the air pressure pushes it back out, and then closing it holds the rubber stopper tight. So we've removed the core, and now we are going to turn the wheel so that the valve is at the bottom, so we can test the level of sealant. So we can take our dipstick and insert it into the core around the bottom, pull it out and see if we have any sealant, and voila, this is bone dry. All right, so it's still holding air because the dried latex is sealing the tire, but if I were to get a puncture, if I were to go over a goat head, I wouldn't have any sealant protection. And the reason that the air, it's starting to seep some air, which is an indication that this tire needs to be replenished. Okay, so now we're going to replenish the sealant. So now, of course, I go through a lot of sealant. This is a large 16-ounce bottle, and I put a generous amount of sealant in our tires. I actually put 8 ounces into the WTB tires and about 6 ounces into each of the Schwalbe tires, which is a lot more than is recommended. But the result is these things can last almost 2 years. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to add about 4 ounces of sealant to this tire. So we want to shake the bottle up really well, turn it upside down, because what's in this bottle is latex and some little granules that help bind with the latex to fill the holes. So you want to make sure you get this good and mixed up. Now, I suggest ordering a small bottle so that all the content goes in, so it's a little less critical. But we shake it up good. And then we open it up. We put our injector on it. Okay. And then we can tip this up, put this on. We just slide it over the valve body. And we can turn it on its side. And we can inject about 4 ounces of additional fluid into the tire. You know, between 4 and 6. And or more. You could go, you know, as much as 8 ounces in these big tires. It adds a little weight, but it gives you additional protection. You want to rinse it off your hands, especially if you have any sensitivity to latex. You might even want to wear a rubber glove. And now, we just take our valve core tool. We take our valve core, we put the rubber end in, put our valve core on it, core tool on it, screw it in, firm but not overly tight. Okay, and then we blow our tire up, and you're ready to ride. You can do this with a floor pump because it is sealed, so it's still holding air. Or you can use a compressor to fill the air. So fill it up, close it, and happy trails.